Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with another video. Hopefully the last video of the day and hopefully the last or one of the last videos on this. I actually wanted to make this a positive video because you wouldn't believe the vitriol I've been, I guess in a sense, willingly subjecting myself to, given the back and forth between me and several other people who like the Teela design. Now I want to be clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with liking it. I don't think it's a good design, and I've made 2 videos explaining this, but if you think it's a good design, that's perfectly fine. My issue is when you start getting disrespectful toward me, and then I clap back, and especially when you start insulting a supporter of mine who spoke up because one of your guys was being a jackass about things, right? But I don't want to focus too much on the negativity. What I will say though is this, and this goes to anybody, but in particular to the guys. Very rarely do I specify something toward a certain gender, but I will direct this a bit more toward men. If you are so insecure about your opinion on something that the only way you can express it toward anybody, but especially a woman, is to start out with insults, especially crass insults, misgendering her, right? Because of maybe her less than traditionally feminine appearance, right? If you need to start out with that, and if you and your buddies need to continue to be insulting jackasses because she dare actually stand by what she says, and you can't actually refute it on its own ground, so you resort to insults instead, or you try to play dumb, yeah, um, you are the ones who are the beta males, who are the white knights and the simps and whatnot. Not the supporter of the woman, right? Not the subscriber or the follower who happens to speak up when he sees that she's being insulted and he happens to pay her a compliment. American Leonidas, you can call me beautiful anytime. But yeah, it's not the woman or the man in this case who spoke up in defense of her and in support of her. It is you. If you cannot make your argument, and again, as I've said previously, I've got no problem with disagreement so long as it's respectful. We don't have to always see eye to eye. But if you cannot make your argument without being an insulting jackass, then you should make your argument. And you should really rethink how you approach people, in particular women. Because if you're the guy who has to insult people, especially women, then yeah, you're the one who has SDE, small energy, right? So you may want to get that checked out. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to focus on something positive, right? So I came across this. This was retweeted by just some guy. And as you can see, it's a fan art. It's a fan art of Revelations, and it's a fan art of Teela. But let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. You see how just by giving her just some feminine features, not any major changes or alterations to the costume, the hair is still there, and I'm never going to like that hair. I'm sorry. It just does not work on her in this particular case, in my opinion. I've seen some people argue, well, it's punk, and I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. Punk doesn't fit here. Who else do you see in Masters of the Universe who has a punk aesthetic, right, or a punk style in a high fantasy bar barbarian fantasy? But anyhow, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean about how much a design is improved if you just add just some feminine elements. Again, she doesn't have huge boobs, right? She doesn't have, well, the thighs are actually pretty thick, but I think that works, right? But she's not showing a ton of skin. The costume itself, right? The chest plate and the pants and the crisscross belt, right, more or less look the same. And her arms are still pretty big, right? You see it's a rough sketch, but you see the arm sort of with the band on it, sort of holding the sword, right? So her arm is still pretty thick and muscular, yet with just these small simple alterations, she looks 1,000 times better. She looks like a woman. She looks like a woman. It's not high femme. It's not high sexed or anything. It's not indecent or inappropriate. It still holds to the design from the show. But it's just amazing how much the design improves when you just add a friggin' female body to it. You add a female body to it, you add a female face, and even with that less than flattering haircut, it still looks 1,000 times better. Had she looked like this, I don't think people would have complained nearly as much. People still would have been upset about the character assassination. That's the most important thing, right? That's the biggest deal. Her character, even if she looked like this in the show, has still been assassinated. Uh, just like MK11 Sindel was, right? But at least this design is just much, much, much easier on the eyes, aesthetically speaking. She looks like a woman again, right? You can still have your punk haircut. Because again, it's not oversexed, but it just looks so much better because she actually looks like a woman. So to this individual, thank you, thank you, right? 100 times better. I wish that this were the standard design, right? And then let's go. Ah, there's also this. There's also this image here of the sorceress, I guess, giving Prince Adam the sword of power. This is also great looking too, and the sorceress looks awesome. Again, feminine and powerful. Adam looks good, right? He's meant to be on skinny, a bit more femme looking because he's a prince and all that, right? So again, just these two wonderful images of fan art. Fan art. Why can't this be the official art? This is fan art and it looks 1,000 times better. Although to be fair, the company who did the art for the show is not to blame, right? The art style, right, just the way it looks is pretty damn good. A bit Reign the Conqueror at times, in particular when they have that shot of Teela like rushing into battle and she's doing this, and her face is like very slimmed out. I'm like, oh my god, that is Alexander from Reign the Conqueror all over again. I'm having MTV flashbacks. Right, but the art style overall for the show I think is fine. It's one redeeming quality. So the animation company or the art studio, right, isn't the problem. They're not the problem. The design was the problem, and the design becomes 1,000 times more tolerable if you just give her a woman's body. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye.